We've got yet another development overnight in the story that's kept everybody completely and utterly baffled as to what actually happened to Jay Slater. Casey Davis is here with us, senior foreign reporter of The Sun. Casey, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Stranger than the last time you were here, we've got yet another twist in the tale, which we didn't know about until yesterday. Supposedly Jay pinched a £12,000 Rolex watch just before he vanished.
Yes, so Mark Williams-Thomas, who has been investigating the case himself away from the official investigation, he says he's spoken to a lot of witnesses, a lot of Jay's friends and families, trying to piece together Jay's last movements. Now, he claims that Jay left the Airbnb he went to feeling scared. He said he didn't want to return to it, but he said also in the hire car he was in with the two British men after he left the club on the way to the Airbnb, he claims Jay sent a Snapchat saying that he had stolen a Rolex watch. He said he hasn't been able to stand that up officially, like with theft reports, but Jay's friends told Mark that he wouldn't make up such a claim.
Right. So, as far as the sort of investigator is concerned, and he's quite a well-known investigator, isn't he, Jake, that this is something that obviously happened. But the big question in the Sun story today, why did two men take my Jay back to the villa? And this is obviously, you know, his dad saying this to your reporter out there. So there's still an awful lot of questions. Yes,
it does feel that way. There's a lot of gaps in the story at the moment. Even Jay's parents are questioning what on earth happened.
Right.
They can't understand why their son, who is just 19 years old, why did he go back to this Airbnb with two men who are much older?
And
one
who
of them was 31.
Know, right?
Yes, well, apparently the man who has spoken out, the 31-year-old, he said he knew Jay through friends.
Yeah.
Brad, who is Jay's close friend, said last week that they met these men whilst they were on holiday, but it's unclear how well they actually knew each other, so we're not sure why Jay would have gone back with them.
And is the suggestion then, to put the two stories kind of together, that the £12,000 Rolex that was pinched from that place?
Potentially. I mean, we're not 100% sure. The stuff around the watch isn't completely been cleared up. There was reports last week that police were looking into a theft at the club Jay was at of a watch, and they were looking at CCTV and speaking to witnesses, but there's a lot of gaps in that story still.
Yeah, exactly right. Because I got the impression, I think I mentioned this to you last time you were here, that when the police said they were not going to be looking for him anymore, it didn't sound like they didn't think they were going to stop looking for him because they thought he was dead. It was more that they didn't think he was there, even.
Yes, potentially. I mean, they feel like they had searched the ground so extensively and they couldn't keep searching forever. They'd searched for going on for 2 weeks. So they said they'd make it more of an investigation, like looking into tip-offs and new information rather than just scouring the ground.
Yeah. And I mean, I suppose it's impossible to know the answers to this question, but is it possible that he's left Tenerife and that he's come back home? Or, I mean, could he even do that without being spotted?
I mean, that's a good question, but again, it's all down to sort of speculation, which we're trying not to do. I know there's a lot on social media, people speculating what might have happened to him, but at this point it is unclear. We don't